This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 15 in the National Football League. Tennessee Titans at home hosting the New York Jets. This was a comical football game. Still entertaining though. For the second week in a row, the Jets have entertained me. And yes, are you not entertained? I was actually thoroughly entertained last week in that overtime thriller versus Minnesota. I was pleasantly entertained once again. And it's hard to entertain me when the Tennessee Titans are involved. Especially when you tell me there's no Zach Mettenberger. When you tell me I'm getting some more the Hurt Locker, then I feel a little discouraged. When you tell me I'm not getting Zach Mettenberger or the Hurt Locker, you tell me I got to take some Charlie White shoes. Oh no, don't tell me that. So this game had it all though. For as low scoring as this game was, a lot of theatrics, a lot of things that you don't see on a normal, regular basis. Let's jump into this quickly and get it over with. Titans have a great drive going. When the 10th play of the drive, snap is bad, ball goes all the way. They were at the 6-yard line, second and goal from the 6-yard line of the Jets. That snap goes backwards. Jake Locker has to fall on it at the 26-yard line. Loss of 20, third and goal from the 26. There's no play for that. You got to settle for a field goal. It's 3-0. Titans on top. That's what bad teams do right there. You go to the second quarter. Geno Smith is in the end zone when he's getting pressure. And, you know, Geno always trying to get himself out of a jam, tries to throw the football away. It's ruled a fumble on the field that the Jets recover. Titans are like, nah, man, that's a pass, that's a safety, that's intentional grounding. Go look at that. So the officials do. Now, this is the thing, though. This is crazy because you don't see this happening very often. Okay, first of all, the officials don't have the power to go back and call a penalty. Okay, they can either challenge something that is reviewable or they can look at components of a play, but they can't go back and have retroactive justice and dish out a penalty. They can't go back and look at a play and say, yeah, that's face mask, so we're going to call you for a personal foul, you know, grabbing on the face mask, 15-yard penalty. You know, they can't do that. They can't go back and say, yeah. Even if they're looking at the play and clear as day on the monitor, they might miss it live. Guy fumbles the football because his face mask gets yanked. He lets the football go. It's recovered. And so you want to check out and see, is that really a fumble? You go back into the monitor and you say, damn, that guy had his face mask for like 5 seconds and we missed it. Can't call face mask. So to go back and see them change this from a fumble to an incomplete pass and then say it's a safety, I'm like, wait a minute, you can't do that. That's not allowed. You just went back, changed the call, and gave a penalty. You can't administer a penalty now. But come to find out, and see, you learn something new every day. I've never seen this before. Mike Carey called New York because he said they can't do that. They can't. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't go back and change a play and administer a penalty from the replay. So he said that if the call had been an incomplete pass, then it would have been a subsequent safety, so they can go back, change the call from a fumble to an incomplete pass, which would then be a safety, which is what the call on the field would have been, which I don't know how you can determine all of that, but look, he was in the end zone. If it wasn't a pass, if they would have determined it was a pass, they would have called him for intentional grounding and a safety. So that's where all the confusion was cleaned up. At the end of the day, it's a safety for Tennessee. It's 5-0. I said the football gods are going to intervene here because I don't know if the Jets were righted or wronged here. Just know the football gods need to even the slate so that we can say, hey, everything is A-okay, just play football. And so on the very next play, the ensuing free kick, Leon Washington comes up to field it. The football guy said, I think I'll intervene now. And Leon Washington comes up. He's fielded a million kicks. Ball hits him right in the face mask. It's fumbled. Guess who recovers? The Jets. And so football guys say, hey, I've done my due diligence. Everything's clear. Clean slate. Play football. Jets end up not getting anything out of it anyway. Okay? So they missed the field goal. So it's 5-0 Titans at the time. After a penalty on Tennessee when the Jets were about to punt the football. They were punting the football. And this is what bad teams do. This is what bad teams do. They have a penalty. Let's call it offsides. Let's call it encroachment or something. Either way, it would have been a 56-yard field goal. Rex Ryan says, you know what? How about I send Nick Folk out here now? Now that it's matter of fact, I think it would have been a 61-yarder. He says, you know what? Nick can make a 56-yard field goal. How about I send Nick out here for that? Or it was 51. So it would have been a 56-yarder. And then Rex says, you know what? I get the free 5 yards. It's still 4th down, but Nick could hammer a 51. I'm not sure about 56. He probably could make it. Don't want to give up that type of field position. I know Nick can knock home 51. And so he does. And in a game that ends up being a tightly contested affair, you can't, and look, these are two bad teams. You can't give up 3 points like that. You were about to get the football. Discipline. Discipline. Where you going? Where you going? You're not blocking the kick. Where you going? Give up a free 3. It's now 5-3. It's a baseball score as we are getting closer to a halftime break. Locker goes out of the game with an injury to his shoulder. What's new? No, tell me something I don't know. Jake Locker getting hurt? That's like you telling me that the sun is coming out tomorrow. No, seriously, tell me something I don't know. Jake Locker gets hurt all the time. That's old news, man. It's old news. What is new news, though, Charlie White Shoes is getting in the game, man. Charlie White Shoes coming in the game. And so, we go to the halftime break. Titans up 5-3. Go to second half. Charlie White Shoes leads the Titans to a field goal. It's now 8-3. Titans up in this game. Eric Decker with a 48-yard catch. Now, first of all, it was an 81-yard touchdown. And Eric Decker went old Madden circa 2008 on me, where you know the guys behind you is going to catch you. You've got to do something to stop him from catching you. So what do? You do the old zigzag drill. You run in, you run out. You run in, you run out. And you hope that he dives at some point. And he dives when you go out and you zig in. And so he was just hoping. He was just praying that this defender that was on his tail would dive and he'd be able to zig and zag his way out of the mess. And guess what he did? He was able to avoid the defender on some old Tecmo Bowl zigging and zagging. But he stepped out of bounds on one of those zigs, man. He stepped on the chalk. And so, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. 48 yards. But with all that transpiring, Jarrell Casey goes nuts, man. And I love me some Jarrell Casey. He's the only guy on that defense worth talking about. And Jarrell, I don't know what happened with him and Gino. Oh, Gino. Oh, Gino said something to him. Got the big fellow riled up. Jarrell went nuts. Next thing you know, Jarrell done smushed the man in his face. Bow! Nice open hand palm. Boom! Gino's, one of those numbers. Next thing you know, hey, green squad. Squad up. Next thing you know, whole offensive line of the Jets. They just swarm on to Jarrell. Next thing you know, Jarrell jersey up here, all up here by his shoulder pads, and the helmet flies off. Jarrell jersey gets ripped. It's crazy, man. And after all of that, only one 15-yard penalty gets. You would have thought Jarrell was getting tossed. Jets would have had a penalty or two. Nah, they said, hey, you're the culprit. You're the guy that started this. We docking you. Because you know the league going to step in. We're going to have some pink envelopes sent out on Wednesday. Guys going to get fined. But for all intents and purposes, that was the only penalty, 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct on Jarrell Casey. So you add that on to the 48-yarder that was down to the 33-yard line. And now it's 18-yard line. Jets have the football. And that ends up turning into a 4th and 1 situation where the Jets roll the dice, kiss it, roll it, hope it comes up nice. And it does. As the Terminator, John Connor, wide open in the flats, Geno hits him, walks into the end zone from 9 yards out. It is now a 10-8 game. Jets take the lead as we near the fourth quarter. Titans retake the lead heading into the fourth on a Ryan Suckup field goal at the end of the third quarter. It is now 10-11, Tennessee up in this game. We go to the fourth quarter. Titans self-destruct, commit 4 penalties, including one on a third down that would have brought up a fourth down, but instead gives the Jets a fresh set of downs, commits 4 penalties, 2 of them in the end zone to keep giving them opportunities to get closer to the end zone and get fresh set of downs to get in the end zone. Ultimately leads to a 1-yard Chris Ivory touchdown to give the Jets a 16-11 lead. They go for 2. Jeremy Curley can't hold on. Either Curley or Graham can't hold on to a diving attempt in the corner of the end zone to convert the 2-point conversion. So it is 16-11. Finally, you get one last opportunity for the Titans on some borderline Music City Miracle nonsense at the end of the game. They throw the football. It's lateral backwards. Somehow it ends back up into the hands of Charlie White Shoes. Charlie shows us a little bit of the White Shoes action. Takes off. Charlie showing a little bit of the wheels. I didn't know Charlie still had the wheels. So he takes off. He's running down the field. He laterals it. And this was a questionable lateral. Everybody was saying, hey, it looked like it could have been in the 4. It could have been. Look, they didn't throw a flag, so it was all good. Of course, they would have had to take a look at it had he scored. But Delaney Walker takes off with the football. You can't go out of bounds, Delaney. Okay, the game's about to be over. You got to flip that, man. Charlie White Shoes was right behind you. Give him the football. Instead, he gets tackled out of bounds. Game's over. Jets hold on 16-11. That was fun. Okay? Didn't think it was going to be fun, but it ended up being a lot of fun. This game had a lot of twists and turns. Got the Geno Smith fumble, then it's a safety, then you got the Jarrell Casey brawl, and then you got the last play of the game. It's a lot of fun. Jets find a way to get it done, get their 3rd win of the season. And look, if you're the Titans, man, you're out for Marcus Mariota anyway. So you're hoping Tampa Bay finds a way to win because you're not winning any more games unless you beat Jacksonville on Thursday. I'm hearing Blake Bortles might not play. You might have a shot. We'll see. But at any rate, Jets get their 3rd win of the season, go to 3-11. Titans drop to 2-12. For two win teams coming into the game, that was fun. It's going to do it for me here breaking down Jets, Titans. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I've got a few more games to break down in week number 15 in the National Football League. See you in a bit.